Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Let's see. Lorna Williams, thank you so much for being here first. Greatly appreciate it. And let's see. Wow, not a lot of people here. Well, and that's fine. That's fine because I'm not going to be on long. I'm sad about Matthew Perry. I was a big fan of Friends. Also, thank you all for 44,000 subscribers. It happened in the wee hours of the morning. And well, right now it's about 44,050. I'll take it. But thank you all very much for that. What a way to end the month of October. Another 1,000 subscribers. So thank you all. And thank you for making Royal Sussex a very, very successful Sussex friendly space. Okay, so let me get going here. I have a soundbite to start you off with. Thank you to the squatty that posted this. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known about it. Um, but yeah, sometimes people just say what needs to be said and say it extremely well. So let me get to it. Um, Okay, let's see here. I'll be there for you when the rain starts to fall. I'll be there for you because you're there for me too. That's the theme to Friends. I'll be there for you. For some reason, I just can't stop thinking about that song. Okay. And hot diggity dog, don't tell me this happened again. I was so sure that it was there. You know what happens? I think is that I save it on my PC, and I expect that to be transferred to my phone, and it does, but just not in a timely manner. So, not to worry though. I'll sort it out. I'll be there for you when the rain starts to fall. Ah, okay. Now that's the worry. Where the heck did I see that? Oh man, where the heck did I see that? Oh, and I did put the troll spray on, didn't I? I hope so. Okay. Hmm. Interesting. Same way I started off yesterday. Well, if nothing else, you got to admit I'm consistent. Oh, you know what? Um, I have just overcomplicated this for no reason. All right, let me focus here. Uh,
I feel like the royal family is naturally moving into a very, very different era with the passing of the Queen. I think people who, maybe weren't sort of diehard royalists had a sort of affection for the Queen and a respect for the Queen because she, whatever you thought of her, she was this unique figure in history. She was this golden thread that went across all these decades of change from Winston Churchill, unfortunately, to Liz Truss, obviously. But she'd seen a lot. She was a very, very unique figure. I think that has changed now with her going, and I think that the spell has slightly been broken with the royal family. I agree with a lot of the points you make, but I don't think this country is up for a revolution. I don't think people are going to be like off of their heads, let's get rid of the royal family. But what I think will happen is probably the most damning thing, which is growing indifference. I think we have a changing country. The demographics of this country are changing, much more multicultural. Younger people don't have that deference for the royal family that, you know, even my generation or my parents' generation did. And I think the royal family have not helped themselves, particularly with how they have behaved. Just look at how they treated Meghan Markle, for example. That was an opportunity for the royal family to reinvent itself, to modernise itself, to bring somebody in from the outside, a woman of colour, and look how she was treated, not just by the press, but actually by members of the royal family and by senior advisors in the palace. That incident really cast shame over the royal family and cast a bit of a stain over this country. So I think the royal family is going to have a bit of an existential crisis going forward, because you don't need to have a huge revolution. I just think people gradually will just think, I'm not that interested. I feel like the royal family is now.
Okay, well. If it isn't the consequences of their own actions, she said it. Now, take a look at the guy in the center of the photo, the one who's leaning back with righteous indignation. If I opened up a dictionary and I look for a photo of righteous indignation, or is it an encyclopedia? I bet you this guy would be there. Let me take a look. Righteous indignation. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's see what that means. Hmm. Try to go with a good one here. Okay. Righteous indignation meaning. Let's see here. Righteous indignation is anger driven by contempt. We are angry because we are disgusted at something we perceive to be morally incorrect, and because we bring our sense of morality to our indignation, we can claim it's an acceptable form of anger. So that is the meaning of righteous indignation. And I would say that if anybody encapsulates, look at me with the big words tonight, I would say it's that guy right there. I mean, he's leaning back like, what did you say? What did you say? And you know, I've seen that look before. I told you I opened my big mouth when I was at the Troop in the Colors. And I said to the person close to me, I said, well, you know, when she goes, all of this goes too. Meaning, of course, the queen. I said, yeah, when she goes, all of this is going to go too. He was like, you think so? I'm like, um, well, I mean, it doesn't really have a purpose. How do you justify the expense? And one thing I've learned since that time, um, one, never say that when you're in somebody else's country. And number two, um, yeah, that's it. Just that one. Um, so he was a bit taken back, and I didn't really think about it in the moment, but later on, as I've had a chance to see how royalists, how they operate, how they conduct themselves, how emotionally they are bound to the House of Windsor, I have thought differently. I'm just like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But either way, because of the way they treated Meghan and because of the way they treated Harry, because of Meghan, they were already doing things to Harry, but we didn't know about that. We would have never known the full extent had it not been for Meghan. So either way, well, you know what? I shouldn't say that because Harry may have had his moment of clarity when he decided that he was not going to take it anymore, when he would speak openly and freely of his experience as a member of the royal family, and at that, a senior member of the royal family. But however you slice it, that family has some problems, right? And it it's not because of Meghan. Meghan is just part of the big picture. However, the reason why we're here is because of the way they treated Meghan. There would be no Sussex Squad if it wasn't for this situation with the uh, very racist royal family, intolerant, and all those other things. It's a racist institution. I mean, period. I've learned to accept that. And you can say, oh, it's just she's an outsider. She's got to pay her dues. It's because she's an American. BS. BS. And whatever the reason is, any family that would allow their own flesh and blood, I mean, these are not the feudal days of the past, right? These are not feudal times. We have learned a couple of things in the last 1,000 years. Number one, you can live without an appendix, right? Matter of fact, you can live without a whole lot of body parts and still have a full and successful life. Number two, there is no need, there's no purpose, there's no necessity for an unelected head of state. Now that we know better, we do better, according to Maya Angelou. When you know better, you do better. Well, we're doing better now, so no need for it. But yeah, so she said what she said, and that guy is just outraged. I mean, you could see that look on his face. There were people, by the way, I could not share the video, but there were people in the audience, mostly the younger people, that were nodding along with her, like, uh huh, uh huh. She spoke truth. Joyce Post says Al Sharpton said it. All Meghan's presence did was bring out what was already there in that royal family. Thank you, Joyce. Thanks for reminding us about that. Very, very true. She just exposed what was there already. So, let's get to Brother Perry. Um, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but uh, let me see. Matthew Perry actually had a very, very famous father. His name was John Bennett Perry, and you might recognize him as the Old Spice guy. Remember Old Spice? Remember that? Ba da 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 da, ba da 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 da. Well, that was actually his real life dad. As you can see, he's a chip off the old Perry. But yeah, so some of you baby boomers may recall that commercial. One of the other commercials that had that kind of theme was the Irish Spring. The Irish Spring, strong enough. Wait a minute. It was no. That was. Oh, wait a minute. Strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. That was the Sure deodorant, right? Irish Spring. The ladies. It was for men, but the lady would say, "I like it too," with that Irish accent. So this is another one of those commercials from back in the day. But he's also done some other things. I think he was one of the daytime soap stars. He actually made a guest appearance on Friends. He actually made an appearance on Friends, but he didn't play Matthew Perry's father because if you are a fan of Friends, if you are a fan, then you know that Matthew Perry's father was played by, oh gosh, um, what is her name? Gosh, I can't remember. I can't remember the father. The father. I mean, well, his father, the character Chandler Bing, the father had transitioned, and oh, the one that played in Serial Mom, Deep Voice. I can't remember her name. Anyway, she played Matthew Perry's dad slash mom. But so the dad did make an appearance, but not as Matthew Perry's dad. But Kathleen Turner, thank you so much, Patricia Smith. Thank you, Kathleen Turner. I said deep voice. Oh my God, Chandler! I am gonna miss Matthew Perry. Guys, I love that show. Well, I'm not so good with names, B. Martin. I can remember all of the details, but the names sometimes that escapes me. But yeah, so I those commercials were such an important part of my life. It made television possible. So Matthew Perry passed away. They said he was found unresponsive in a hot tub or whatever. And so, yeah, it's too bad. He struggled for a long, long time. And what's really touching to me is that the other cast members on Friends, they really, really, really pulled for him. I mean, they all they did as much as they probably could, and um, Friends, it is a very, very superficial show. It lacked diversity, most episodes. But what I loved about Friends is the fact that they were friends. They were friends on the camera, they were friends off the camera. And as a testimony to their friendship, there had came a point when the producers wanted to purge themselves or of one or two of the characters, right? And they got together as an ensemble and they went to the producers and said, "We are a team, all six of us. If you want four of us, then you need to have five, six of us." So they went to the producers as a team, and they fought for their contracts. And by the time they got to the last season, they were making about 1.2 million per episode. So it was a very expensive show toward the end, but they brought in big ratings. So let's just say for the staff alone, each episode, you're paying almost $7 million just to keep the show on the air. So no wonder they wanted to get rid of someone. But bravo for them for going in as a team and fighting for each other. It wasn't an option to look to the person to your left or to your right and say, "Well, we don't really need Joey. We don't really need Phoebe or anything like that." They kept everyone. So I hope, I hope that if I ever found myself in a situation like that, that I would have, a team of people that are willing to stand up for me to make sure that I wasn't the one that they sacrificed. So there you go. That was the one of the things that I really liked about that show is not just the on camera, but the off camera as well. And so and it is going to be really tough for the rest of the cast. Very funny guy. His sarcasm and wit was he just had an ability to deliver those lines. Always able to his comedic timing was very impressive. Uh, let's see. Oh, and by the way, I actually added the halo and the wings to the photo. I had that photo because, well, like I told you, I'm a really big fan of Friends. So I had that photo from some time ago. So I decided to make him an angel. Okay. But as the song says, but I'll be there for you when the rain starts to pour. I'll be there for you like I've been there before. I'll be there for you because you're there for me too. That's that. Now you see why that song just stays in my head. Very, very, very. It just means so much more now. You know what I mean? Yeah, means so much more. Okay, let's see. And of the sofa. Let me tell you something about this. This is not actually a New York neighborhood, but you probably know that, right? I don't know where you would find an area like this in New York. That is all Hollywood backdrop. There is nothing inside of those buildings. And that fountain is real, but there's nothing inside of those buildings. That is not a real New York street. When they were making the series and they needed an opening, these six strangers went to that fountain and danced around and everything. And of course, the couch is almost like the seventh character, or the coffee shop is almost like another character in the show. So, oh, thank you so much, Elaine Parker, for the super sticker. Oh, my bell is sounding kind of dull tonight. Let me try that again. Thank you very much for that. And thank you for being here tonight. Congratulations to South Africa. This is your moment again. Let me explain. So there you have it, world champion South Africa, and this is for rugby, right? 1995, 2007, 2019, and 2023. Congratulations! And of course, as we all know, there to help celebrate with them. Let me see. Is he in one of these photos? No. But oh, I know where he is. There he is right there. You can see him with the scarf around his neck. I kind of like that South Africa scarf. I wonder where I could find one. Let me see if they have that on Amazon. That is really cool. I love that. I love the colors and everything. But yeah, the president of South Africa found himself right there in the middle of the winning team. And well, I haven't seen him looking this happy since he went to that state dinner at Buckingham Palace. Remember that when he went on the carriage ride? I see bags of cash, gold plates too. I saw a knife and stuck it in my shoe. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, South Africa's answer to Louis Armstrong himself was right up there on the stage with them. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky. I rode in the Queen's carriage. Kate squeezed my thigh. Ah, it's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah. But I tell you, talk about somebody who loves his job. I have never seen such pleasure in a public servant. But yeah, so that's congratulations if you all are from South Africa. Congratulations. If you're not, congratulations to the team. And wasn't that the South African team that Harry, light skinned Harry, greeted in the locker room, right? Harry embraced the president of South Africa, right? And gosh, I'm trying to think. What was the other thing? Oh, and yeah, and then he went to the locker room. Now it was such a contrast to his brother, the jerk, who could not be bothered when the Italy won the World Cup. He couldn't be bothered, but light skinned Harry, being the diplomat that he is, he did go and embrace the president of South Africa. And what was so strange is that Willie Leaks was right there. He was right there and chose not to. So go figure. Wait a minute, was this it? No, that's not it. I was trying to find the one where Harry went through the locker room. This is Harry at the Super Bowl. Don't need that one. Okay, let me get rid of that. Don't need it. And of course, I can never remember what I labeled the video. Let me try one more time. I'm sure it did not say rugby, but let me try anyway. Certainly not. Was it team? Nah, that's not it either. Well, I know it started with Harry. That much I know for sure. Well, that's okay. Nobody's going anywhere until I find it. And I mean to find it. Let me see. In the meantime, I'm going to do this one.
Prince Harry, and Prince Harry should be king. He should be king. Prince Harry, not William. William and all of them in there, Camilla is the wicked witch of the devil himself, because she is part of why Princess Diana is not here. I do not like them. I am from the islands, and we don't need them in the Caribbean. Get lost. Demolish the monarchy. This is 2023, okay? And I will support Harry 100%. I do feel for him. Yes, I do. And everything in the book is the truth. And Charles is the monster, not Harry. Harry is no monster, not Meghan. He is bringing the story out right now. They are evil people. They are not nice. Behind the wall, we all are one human being, and behind that wall there are no difference with me and you and any other Brits. Give the people back their money. They are just welfare recipients living off the taxpayers of the British people, and the British people are stupid supporting that nonsense monarchy. It is nothing. It's just a title. It means nothing. A title. I'm angry at them.
Okay, yeah, well, I give up because I don't see it. I don't see it. I give in this time. Yeah, that's not it either. Okay, never mind. I'm done. All right. Yes, I know. It was an Obama parody. Yeah, I forgot. I don't remember. Oh, sorry. Let me sit down. I was standing at my desk. Now I'm sitting. I got one of those standing desks. When your back feels kind of, tricky, then you get up and move around. So lucky to have it. Lucky to have it. But yeah, it helps out a lot. Give the people back their money. Putting up with that nonsense. Behind the walls, there's no difference between you and me. Okay. All right, I give. Well, thank you. I like the way you all try to help me out. And anybody can look at me can tell I need help. Uh, yeah, I'm going to have to do some organizing because I keep saying that and I haven't done it, but I need to organize some things because my files are all over the place and I got so many. I have accumulated so much. You have no idea. I bet you I have like 80,000 photos, and I had plenty photos before Royal Sussex. Trust and believe I had plenty because of my amateur photography. So, and it is getting out of hand. Way out of hand. Okay. Okay. Let me see here. Oh, that's your favorite? Yeah, me too. Okay. So anyway, that was the scene right there. Harry went through the locker room, and anyway, you know the rest. He was that was what 2019, and I believe that was I think that was in Japan, right? That was in Japan, and he was was he the patron of rugby? And they gave it to that dimwit as a way to punish him or something like that. So, yeah. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, never mind. No, that's not it. I thought for sure it was light skinned Harry. I thought that was the label I used, light skinned Harry. Well, I don't think so. Nope. So why did that keep coming up? And to see this, that they kind of was it at the end? If you don't know what it's at the end of the video. This is going to set the social media ablaze, as well it should. As I scroll through Twitter, it's everywhere. It's all over Twitter. I mean, it is trending like you would not believe. So anyway, just in case you guys don't know about it, there's a certain type of like soul handshake that I mentioned. Somebody was very quick to add to the conversation today. Prince Harry did the handshake scene from Key and Peele. And if you don't know what it is, here it is. But that's why they always call him light-skinned Harry. There's a certain, few people who have used that reference to Harry. And of course, some people don't like the use of it. But what they're trying to say is that Harry is very well received among certain people in the population, and that's all to it. And of course, a lot of that is because of his mother, but most of it is just because of Harry's ability to relate to people. So anyway, that's it is what it is. Good day for the Sussexes. That's it for now. You know what? I doubted myself. It was right there, and I doubted myself. I forgot it was part of a longer video. That's what it was. I started doubting myself when I shouldn't have. I put in light skinned Harry, it came up, and then I doubted myself. I'm like, no, that's not it. That's not it. Anyway, so Meghan and Harry deemed threatening an investigation confirms that the royal family revealed information about them. Uh, New scandal in prospect within the British royal family. According to the investigation carried out by independent media Byline Times, King Charles III would have stopped the security service of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle for fear of being overshadowed by their popularity. A report which confirms the comments made by Harry and Meghan in their documentary for Netflix. Well, let us remember it wasn't just about that, it was also about money. That, he didn't just end their security, he also cut off their money. And it wasn't just overshadowed, they are omitting the part about the alleged leaks, the alleged leaks. So it's interesting how they kind of dropped that part of this. Well, let me see. Uh, Byline investigation: how Meghan and Harry's security service was taken away from them, while rumors of appeasement with the British royal family began to multiply. This investigation risks putting further strain on the relationship. Byline Times journalists delve into the departure of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry for the United States and confirmed that King Charles III would have withdrawn security service to push them toward the exit. The Sussexes either needed to be safe in Britain or shunned and castigated as thoroughly as possible in order to reduce the threat of them overshadowing the rest of the family, the publication claims. Their 2021 interview with Oprah Winfrey, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, claimed that Prince Charles, who was not yet king, literally cut off their funds when they decided to leave their roles as senior working members of the royal family. It wasn't because they left, it was because they wouldn't take that name out of that lawsuit. Of the royal family, although he had initially offered to finance their security in America for a year on a trial basis. But the $700,000 had nothing to do with the security. They pulled the security, yes, but they also pulled the money because Harry was naming names. He was naming the leak. However, according to Byline Times, this financial sanction was the consequence of their refusal. Oh, I'm sorry, there it is right there. Refusal to remove a legal document, the name of a Kensington Palace aide. Look at that, I was getting mad. Whose partner received money from the editor-in-chief of the Sun newspaper of the era, allegedly for article about Megxit. I hate that word, but that's what it's there. And Prince Archie for a good reason. The truth is, Harry and Meghan make headlines better than the King and Camilla or William and Kate. The idea that they are still in the civil service, but abroad outside of the control of the institution and dominating the media narrative simply could not happen. Okay, I take that back. They did tell the whole thing. Well, whatever the case may be, um, that is Harry's dad, right? Right? That's his dad. That's supposed to be his family, his brother, his flesh and blood. And they took they took more care with the help than they did with their own family member. How could you be so invested in the help? No matter how you slice it, I don't care if Meghan was wielding an axe and Harry was running through there like Hannibal Lecter. It does not matter. That's the help. Right? And so, considering this happened, Oh my goodness, I thought that was a side of pork. I thought that was, what is that? Oh, that's Charles's hand. Do you see that? Ugh. Ugh. You see that? I just looked over, I glanced at the screen and I saw a big lump of flesh. Ugh. That's his hand. Ugh. Ugh. Look at that big floppy uh big chunky block of meat. I mean, it just seems like you ought to be shaving it and putting it on bread and adding some mayo. Ugh. That is intense. I can't unsee it now. Oh well. New scandal and prospect with the British royal family, according to an investigation carried out by the Independent. Oh, did I do that one already? But yeah, so you know what? They are done. This article and the articles that follow are gonna blow this entire sordid thing wide open. The public, as that lady said in the video that we started with, it's not going to be because of them marching in the streets with pitchforks and yelling off with their head. That's not how this ends. It is going to happen because people are going to look at things like this and they are going to just say, you know what? I'm just not so interested. Isn't that what she said? She said that people are going to look at that and they're going to just say to themselves, I'm really just not that interested. Let's have that one more time. That's my new favorite thing, by the way.
I feel like the royal family is naturally moving into a very, very different era with the passing of the Queen. I think people who, maybe weren't sort of diehard royalists had a sort of affection for the Queen and a respect for the Queen because she, whatever you thought of her, she was this unique figure in history. She was this golden thread that went across all these decades of change from Winston Churchill, unfortunately, to Liz Truss, obviously. But she'd seen a lot. She was a very, very unique figure. I think that has changed now with her going, and I think that the spell has slightly been broken with the royal family. I agree with a lot of the points you make, but I don't think this country is up for a revolution. I don't think people are going to be like off of their heads, let's get rid of the royal family. But what I think will happen is probably the most damning thing, which is growing indifference. I think we have a changing country. The demographics of this country are changing, much more multicultural. Younger people don't have that deference for the royal family that, even my generation or my parents' generation did. And I think the royal family have not helped themselves, particularly with how they have behaved. Just look at how they treated Meghan.
Oh, sorry about that.
Markle, for example. That was an opportunity for the royal family to reinvent itself, to modernize itself, to bring somebody in from the outside, a woman of color, and look how she was treated, not just by the press, but actually by members of the royal family and by senior advisors in the palace. That incident really cast shame over the royal family and cast a bit of a stain over this country. So I think the royal family is going to have a bit of an existential crisis going forward, because you don't need to have a huge revolution. I just think people gradually will just think, I'm not that interested.
I'm not that interested. I'm just not that into the royal family. That is how it starts. That is how it starts. It's not going to be the big single event. Nay, it is going to be exactly what we're seeing right now. And look at the geopolitical situation of the world as we know it. Let's say you're a bully, and every time something happens, the first thing you say is, oh, well, they have a right to defend themselves, right? Right? They have a right to stand their ground. However, there seems to be an overwhelming disadvantage with the person standing their ground, with the person defending themselves. And the young generation are taking notes. They are not going to forget this moment. I don't know what is to be done with that information, but there are tens of thousands of people in the streets all over the world saying that they've had enough of it and that we see you and we know what you're doing. And the same with the royal family. People are making notes. They will remember, they won't forget. The Commonwealth, uh, they let them know that already, and they're going to hear more from the Commonwealth. They may as well just abandon the Commonwealth. You don't really need it. It doesn't serve a purpose other than enhancing and bolstering the image of the royal family, and of course the palace of Westminster with all their peers and such. That's all it does. It's just a reason to have uh, a, a parade, or to have a state visit or something like that. Other than that, it serves no useful purpose. They might as well get rid of it. And there's going to be more of that to come. The last few times that uh, King Charles III has gone out, the last few times, Charles III doesn't even put certain things in his diary anymore because he doesn't want people to show up and protest. And they will show up. Whether it's one lone person with a sign or groups of people, he is doing himself no favor. All that they have gone through just to reform their um, very damaged public, their public appearance, their what do you call it? Their public image. They have done so much to so many people to try to hang on to power, to look good in those spaces, to make it, at least make it seem like people love them, even though most people just tolerate them. So I'm so glad that this is happening. I'm so glad. And if nothing comes of it other than just a public record of everything that has taken place, I can live with that. I hope there's so much more to it. I hope there's so much more to it. As a matter of fact, I think it's time for that public apology. But if that never comes, at least we have a permanent record of it. At least they get to squirm and feel uncomfortable and ill at ease instead of feeling entitled and full of themselves as they have been carrying on for a long time. So uh, let's see. Oh, Lynn E has a super chat. Church Nelly's strong prayer for restoration of health for you. The squatties are joining hands across the world in power prayer for you. Yeah, and you know what? You just reminded me. I need to do a get well card for Church Nelly on the community tab. So usually when I say that, it takes me a couple of days, but I will get it up there sooner rather than later. But yeah, so I don't think Church Nelly has been in any of the spaces, which is not a good thing. So that just means Church Nelly needs our prayers and all the positive energy that much more. So uh, make sure you keep sending those prayers Church Nelly's way. Thank you, Lynn E. Also, let's see. B. Martim says, Baron, I remember HRH Prince Harry was asked to leave a garden party with Princess Meghan because the press focused on them. Right. And of course, they claimed that Harry and Meghan chose to leave when I believe it was actually that they were asked to leave. But either way, I also considered the idea that they had only just gotten married and they did not actually take their honeymoon as of yet. So we don't even know the timetable for their honeymoon, an exact timetable. They did manage to get away without the tabloids following them. But however things have played out, we do know that there was a lot of jealousy and envy that the Sussexes were overshadowing some very mediocre people, some very, very plain, ordinary people, no matter how they try to pretend like the rest of that family has some type of wit or talent or some type of, they even try to claim that they have a personality. I think the only one that has a real personality is Princess Anne. Um, but the rest of them, I would say they kind of fall short by way of personality. Um, you have a couple of them that's angry for no reason whatsoever, but aside from that, they're not much for personality. So yeah, but thank you so much, B. Martin. Pam Porter, thank you for the super sticker and thank you for being here. Charles and William will not only have to deal with Harry and Meghan, but also the other royals, European royals, that is. They respected the Queen, not so much Charles and Willie, the other royals. And was that Anne? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Joyce Voss. And thank you for being here tonight. Kelly Ann Phillips says, imagine if Meghan and Harry did not do the interviews, the other royals would have gotten away with mistreating Harry, Meghan, and Archie. Yeah. And of course, as Harry stated, that he gave it a year. He gave it a year. They didn't say anything for a year, but yet the vicious leaks continued. Antonio, 2 months. I needed a good laugh, and you just provided it. His hands look like what? It looks like it kind of looks like a canned ham, right? I guess if I took a canned ham and held it close to my waistcoat, the only thing that's missing is the pineapple glaze. But yeah, it looks like a canned ham. It looks like, or if not ham, how about it looks like somebody just dumped some spam out of a can, huh? That's what it looks like. It looks like mystery meat, spam. Looks like something you could slice and serve up with breakfast. It just looks, let me stop looking at it. I got to stop looking at it. Because once, anyway, thank you for 2 months membership. And thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for being here tonight, as well as being a member. But yeah, it reminds me of some buttock, no, not buttock. What is that lunch meat? No, I don't know. It just reminds me of that. Or those little wieners, those Vienna wieners that come in a can. Just lumpy and fleshy and pink and lumpy and fleshy and pink. And huge. Did I mention huge? Well, that's what happens. Reptilian, invertebrate, inbred, alien life form. That's what happens. When you're not of this world, that's what happens. New scandal in prospect with the British royal family, according to investigation. Did I just do that one? I think I did. Charles III has stopped. Yeah, I did. So there you have it. Senior Palace Source, Palace Source, Royal Insider, and Royal Aid. That is where all of this stuff comes from. Those are what's his name said? It's much easier to blame anything uncomfortable on racism rather than accept the fact that most of the negativity toward them are coming from inside the royal family. It's coming from oh, okay. So King Charles removes Prince Harry. Oh, by the way, this is New York Post. That's why I'm sharing this. Not only was it in Marie Claire, not only have they talked about it on ITV, but the circle is growing. This January 2020 throne room photo was a breaking point for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. See there? Now that is that was in retaliation of them saying that they were stepping down, right? So King Charles removed Prince Harry, Meghan Markle's security to bring them to heel, says the report. And if you take a look over here on the right side, Peter Jukes, who is one of the editors from the Byline, he says right here, even the Murdoch press is covering Dan Evans and Tom Latham's Byline Times World exclusive in the U.S. Wonder why the redness here? Actually, I don't wonder. King Charles removed Prince Harry, Meghan Markle's security to bring them to heel. So Peter Jukes is actually kind of trolling a bit by saying that. But okay, New York Post is owned by Murdoch, if I recall. So it is not a Sussex-friendly publication at all. And along with that, it is in the U.S., right? And in spite of that, they tend to carry the water for the royals. But whatever secret agreement that they have with the Murdoch press, maybe that agreement doesn't carry over to the New York Post. Maybe it's a courtesy that Murdoch gives them the incredibly favorable coverage that they get at home, but maybe that doesn't necessarily extend overseas like the New York Post. So good on them for doing that, even though it's a right-wing rag. But as Peter Jukes says, it's quite telling that they're covering that at the New York Post. And of course, let us recall that Cressida Dix, who is the former chief of police for the Met Police right there, Met Commissioner Cressida Dix to be made Dame Commander for Public Service. So after she said there was no there with Andrew, the sick old man, after she said there was nothing to investigate with the cash for honors, somewhere down the line, she is honored as a Dame Commander. Now, I don't know if you would call that quid pro quo, but it does seem to it does seem to be something shady going on in the plain light of day. And let us recall too that Cressida, that is her name, right? Yeah, Cressida Dix. Wasn't she in charge when they had that rally to memorialize what is it, Sarah Everhart? And Megan's name somehow ended up on the police report instead of Kate Middleton. It was Kate Middleton who broke the law. And when they asked her about it, she said Kate Middleton was actually working. She was actually carrying out official royal duty. So not only did they say that they weren't going to do anything to or say anything to Kate, there would be no investigation. They put Megan's name on the police report. They put Megan's name on the police report. They arrested women. They brutalized the women that showed up at this rally. Sarah Everhart, in case you don't know it, was unalived by a Met officer. And because of the pandemic, they used that as an excuse because of the limited amount of people that were allowed to gather publicly. They used that as an excuse to say, stay home, don't come down here. You're violating the rules. And so a lot of the women and young girls that showed up to that event to mourn. There was outrage at the fact that this Met police officer was not being handled in the same way that they would handle any other criminal, even though he had unalived someone. This guy was like, a bit of a nut job. And so Kate goes down there for whatever reason. It's hard to understand because uh, why would Kate leave the safety and security during the midst of a global pandemic and go down to a memorial? She could have gone any time of day, but she went at the time when there was the most cameras. And if you haven't learned anything else from that article, we do know that Christian Jones was instrumental in pushing the Cambridges into doing things outside of their safety zone, outside of their comfort zone. That was a product of Christian Jones. He was the one that orchestrated a lot of that. And that was before they brought in the NBC guy, who really is not really a public relations person in that vein. His expertise is actually more toward their appearance on social media, meaning that he could orchestrate some farce like that as well. But Kate only went to that memorial because they told her to go down there and to be seen caring on camera. She hasn't done anything like that before, and she hasn't done anything like that since. That was the only reason. And just now, talking about it, I realized how that happened. It wasn't Kate who had the bright idea, oh, let me go down to this memorial. This will help enhance my appearance. No, it was likely, I'm going to allege that it was Christian Jones who, according to that article, is one of the people that was instrumental in pushing them to do things that they normally wouldn't do.
In the course of her duties, she was working. Of course, in that...
Really, it was legal for her because you think she was there for work?
That they were willing to lie to protect other members of the family, but they weren't willing to tell the truth to protect me and my husband.
Every time I see that, that just makes my blood boil. By the way, thank you so much for the Venmo. Let me see here. LC, thank you very much for the Venmo. But every time I see that, that just makes my blood boil, because they were quite brutal with the women that showed up at that event. And by the way, there was a squatty that put this video together, and I added some background music to kind of heighten the urgency of it. But other than that, this was what another squatty put together. So I don't want to take credit for having put this one together, but I did borrow it for, the sake of conversation, and also to expose as best I can, a situation which I think was absolutely deplorable. Those women went down there because they were feeling very hurt. They were mourning the loss of a young, beautiful woman who, however, she met this Met police officer, and she had a horrific ending. And so, as they're mourning, they're telling people, "Oh, don't come down here." But maskless Kate Middleton shows up and prances around with her royal protection officers. She just could not contain herself. She was so emotional that she had to flee the house as fast as possible. We got to get down there. I have to get down there. I'm just trying to picture a world where Kate Middleton, one of the most selfish people that's ever lived, I'm trying to picture her feeling some urgency to run down there and find community with these women that she wouldn't talk to if she thought it would save their lives. Unless there's a camera, unless there's something to do with her public image, she wouldn't bother. Everybody knows that. This was totally a publicity stunt, courtesy, I am alleging, of Christian Jones. I'd never figured that out. I never figured that out. I knew it had to be something about her public relations, but after reading that article and finding out that Christian Jones was the one who pushed them and coerced them to do things that they normally would not do, then all of a sudden it made sense. It made so much more sense than before. A lot of the petty stuff that was happening, it wasn't so much that they had a person in the background that would say, if you really want to, you could, that was all contrived, courtesy of Christian Jones and the rest of the crew. That is how that happened. Didn't figure it out before, but now it makes sense. I'm going to allege, because I wasn't there, I don't know for sure, but I do believe that part of the sudden interest in common folk and victims of crime was because she was trying to be more like Meghan, trying to be more of a girl's girl, someone who stands up for women's rights, someone who's empowering women, because that was very much in the vein of a feminist. And we know that we know for sure Kate is anything but a feminist. She doesn't care what happens to other women, as evident by the way Meghan was treated. Meghan, heavily pregnant Meghan, was treated deplorably. And of course, Meghan's wedding, uh, Kate did everything she could to upstage. She was hoping that people would mention the white dress. What other reason would she do that? It's all for effect. She's not one to care about other people like that. You never see her spontaneously do anything. If there's not a camera involved, if there's not a PR component, this is the Kate that has gone through several personal secretaries. Several personal secretaries. They get there, they take a measure of the place, they see how chaotic it is, they see the very childlike individuals there that she has to work with, and her personal secretaries are like, nope, nope, and they just leave. They're the ones that have trouble keeping staff. They're the ones. And because of projection, they like to throw it on Harry and Meghan. They're the ones that find it difficult to keep staff. They don't write speeches, they just read them. It doesn't matter who the speech is for and what it's about. there is no interest in anything going on with their official royal duties. They show up. That's it. They show up. And it's been like that a long time. Just like Piers Morgan said in that article, the one where he made the case for Harry being the next king, he said that it is, I forgot the words that he used, but he said it is like gut wrenching to watch William do an interview because he's not interested in anything that has to do with the environment, with his official royal duty. Everything is, that's why he talks so fast when he goes to these different outings. When he's doing an interview, he talks very fast. He does not share any passion about anything because he doesn't care. He does not care.
I'm sorry we can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes it does more than financial.
Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So
he wouldn't even let the guy finish talk. Well, he wouldn't even let the guy finish talking. They couldn't wait to get out of there. I mean, I'm sure that the Range Rover's motor was still running.
I'm sorry we can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes it does more than financial.
Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So
What's the hurry? What's the hurry? You're going to be doing this the rest of your miserable life. What is the hurry? He wouldn't even let the guy finish talking. It ain't really nothing we could do. Is that how you help people? You start off with, well, it ain't nothing. Is that how you help people? You go to help, you bring them stale brownies and granola bars instead of toys or clothes or, some nappies or something like that. You bring some food because that's what Megan would do. And then when you get there, the first thing you say is, well, ain't nothing we could do. Well, sorry, ain't nothing we could do. Yeah, that's what he came there to tell them, is that there's nothing to be done.
I'm sorry we can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes it does more than financial.
Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So
a little smile here and there, and that's about it. A little smile here and there, or as in Kate's situation, half a smile, because I got a feeling that she just had a treatment before that and it hasn't settled yet. So William will give him a little smile. Kate will give them a half a smile. So a little smile, a half a smile. I don't know what the math is, but let's say that that's about a smile and a third, right? Or is it like 2/3 of a smile? Yeah, that is how you help people. That is how you sincerely rise to the occasion, is you get there and you tell them, well, there's nothing we can do. We'll give you a little smile and a little wave, but it ain't nothing we could do. We can't do nothing. Yeah, but we're thinking about you, but we can't do nothing. Well, my father has $1 billion, and whenever I get my money, I'll be straight, but still ain't gonna be able to help you. Just a little smile, a little wave, a little smile. Hard brownies, chewy granola bars, but other than that, there's not a whole lot we can do. We're rich, we're privileged, we're royal, but we are unable to do anything. So don't expect nothing. You win some, you lose some. That's the way the cookie crumbles. All that glitters is not gold. What goes up must come down. Find a fool, bump his head. I'm pretty sure there's a whole bunch of old sayings that you could add with that. But yeah, he was talking all fast and everything because they got to hurry up and get up out of there. We can't be around all this misery. We can't be around all this misery. What if somebody after you and I'm in the way? No, we got to get out of here. We can't be around all this misery, all this sadness. We got to hurry up and get back to one of our several homes. Yeah. Ugh. Got to wash the stench of this uh, uh, war off of me and all of this helping and these downtrodden people. Yeah, got to get out of there. Anyway, Pam Porter, thank you so much for the super sticker. If I didn't say thank you. And but anyway, Pam, I all I could do is a little smile, a little wave, and ring a little bell. I can't really do much more than that. But I'm thinking of you. And let's see. Oh, B. Martim. Let me see here. Maybe she saw press story about my spelling. Well, that's a possibility. But thank you so much, B. Martin. But that's about all they could do. A little smile, a little wave. But we thinking about you. That's all we're gonna do is we're gonna think about you while we're in our four-poster bed, our canopy beds, and all of those wonderful tapestries to keep the draft out of these old rooms. We'll be thinking about you. So the nights are drawing in, the temperature's dropping, and the cost of living rocketing up. So why not follow the royals with these simple money-saving hacks? I'm still here. I'm just trying. I'm just. This kind of leaves you speechless, doesn't it? Now, we know that Charles had a billion-dollar duchy, the Duchy of Cornwall. Now that is William's duchy. Now Charles has a billion-dollar Duchy of Lancaster, which was the Queen's duchy, right? Now the duchy is like a personal bank account. It's like an ATM for the sovereign and the Prince of Wales. The duchies are a means of income to make sure that you don't go into debt and embarrass the country like some of the royals have in the past, right? It is land that has been passed down by the generations, deliberately created to make sure that you never want for anything, right? So this is a way to, I mean, this is so provincial. This is so ancient. This is so 1970s. No, not this is post-war language. This is post-war language where they used to try to convince people that everybody's tightening their belts, even the royals. So there is someone with a worn out shoe and Charles with a patch on his double-breasted suit that he wears everywhere, that threadbare suit. And of course, the Queen with her electric fireplace. She has a little space heater in front of the fireplace. And then, of course, there's Kate with those 29-year-old boots. You know, I wouldn't tell nobody that I had these boots for 29 years. I wouldn't tell anybody that these boots are 29 years old. I wouldn't want people to know that the oil that I secreted from my foot 30 years ago is still glazing the bottom of this boot. I would probably keep that to myself. I wouldn't want people to know that I would put these boots away for the season so that I can go and work on the yachts in the Mediterranean. I wouldn't tell anybody that. I would probably keep that to myself. And then, of course, there's the Queen's breakfast. Um, One of the things we learned when they had a person pose as a footman who was actually a reporter is that footman witnessed the Queen eating a typical normal breakfast out of Tupperware containers. Um, Needless to say, I'm not impressed. It doesn't matter. The Queen probably had something very light for breakfast, but I'm sure by supper it looked like something out of a romance novel, like a period piece drama. By the time supper came around, so um, whatever the case is, who cares? But I what is the point of this article? As a matter of fact, you can see someone who is not a squatty says, "Who writes this crap? Who writes this?" I didn't want to share their name, but she wants to know who writes this stuff. Who sits around all day and just think of stuff? Well, the seasons are changing, and there's a lot of people that are hungry and homeless. Let's remind them that Charles puts a patch in his suit. And what's missing from this collage of photos? Where's Harry with the hole in his shoe? Where's Harry with all of his belongings in a bin liner? Right? Where's Harry? Harry didn't live like that on purpose. That was all he knew, due to the lack of involvement by any adults in his life after his mother passed away tragically and mysteriously in that tunnel in Paris. What about Harry? Harry is the one who didn't have a choice but to live like that. I mean, take a look at this. This is Harry with a hole in his shoe. There's Harry with a trash bag with his belongings. Um, there's Harry in that dilapidated servant quarters called Nottingham Cottage. And there's Harry shopping the high street at the MK Maxx or TK Maxx or whatever. That's Harry. You don't see the rest of them doing that. Kate, who has never worked a real job in her life, the Queen, well, she that's what she did. Charles with that ridiculous patch in his suit. Who are they trying to convince? Charles, who has what, 8 homes? He has a home for every day of the week, and then some. A fleet of automobiles, helicopters, private jets. And so, in order to make himself feel like he's the second coming, he puts a little patch on his coat. Or actually, he had somebody put a patch on there. That's rich. That is very rich. No pun intended. Jill S. Gil S. says Willie and Kate seemed so dishonest. They are dishonest. They are very much dishonest. And dare I say again that they laugh at the rest of the world. The only thing that they have in common, the best connection they have as a couple, is their contempt for all humanity. Let me explain that. When they go out and they do these little stunts where they mimic everything the Sussexes do, that's a good laugh for them. When they go and sit down with those kids and those families and such, do you think they really care? William talks like he's got a plane to catch. Kate is totally disinterested in anything that's going on. She asks the stupidest questions. She's never prepared. He's never prepared. It's all a big game for them. It's do the least possible. The reason why it looks like they are so out of touch is because they are so out of touch. It's glaringly obvious. If you're genuinely interested in something, you learn something about it. But if you're not interested, then you just hold your breath and get through it. You mutter through it. And that's what they've been doing all this time. They're not interested in that stuff. The height of the Queen's calendar, Commonwealth Day, and William goes skiing because there was no one, and I do mean no one, who would dare tell him what a bad idea that was. So Charles sends Jobo, Robert Jobson, to write an article that really takes William to task. It was pretty much a grow up, grow the F up, is what the article said. You're getting too old for what you're doing. And I think he got the message. After that, he didn't miss another Commonwealth ceremony. But the fact that he had enough arrogance to go skiing, I mean, we've all seen those movies. When the Queen, that's Harry's commander in chief, that's what he said. If the Queen asked him to do anything, he just didn't refuse. William, not so much. Have Harry do it. Yeah, tell Harold. It's a joke to them. I'm convinced of it. I don't have any evidence in front of me, but it's a joke. They laugh at the rest of humanity. They laugh at the people that work for them. Just like when they delivered that food and on camera, William said, oh, the Uber drivers, or what is it, the DoorDash, whatever it was, he said that the Royal Protection officers were probably out there roughing them up. Because it's a joke. When the pandemic started, he joked about that, saying that every time somebody coughed, everybody starts getting scared, and he just laughing. And during the pandemic, just think of how many times you've seen them, members of the royal family, in mixed company. And I'm talking about before the testing, before the vaccines. How many times have you seen them at a preschool or at a or elementary school or any place else where there's kids and they don't have a mask on? That was something that they did routinely. Not concerned. I even think one of the senior royals went and had lunch with his mother, and then she got sick, right? And then they said there was a breakout at the Windsor Castle. But one of the senior royals sat up there oozing of whatever, and next thing you know, the Queen was sick. But remember, it was Harry and Meghan that shortened her life. The Queen had to pay out 12 million pounds for her wayward son to somebody he never met for something he certainly didn't do, but that didn't shorten her life, right? And of course, what about the Duke of Hazzard? When Philip car went careening through that intersection, remember his car jettisoned over that other car and broke that. Remember when Philip broke that woman's arm? Huh? Remember when Philip broke that woman's arm? Had her sitting up on This Morning with her arm in the sling? know why that always tickles me, but had her sitting up on this morning. She was on this morning with her arm in a sling, talking about how Philip didn't even stop. How he just shot through that intersection. He didn't even break or slow. He didn't even break or slow down. He just shot right through the intersection. He was trying to get back over there to Wood Farm. I guess that he probably left something burning over there or something, but he had to get back over to Wood Farm. So when he reached the road to separate this estate from one side to the other, he just shot right through that intersection and broke that woman's arm, had a car spinning around, and he was hanging upside down in the car. They had to, Philip's car was upside down when they dragged him out of there. And I don't know why I get the feeling that Philip was probably cussing that woman out. He probably called her all kind of stuff. And it was his fault. It was his fault. But, you know, we got to remember, it was Harry and Meghan who caused the Queen so much grief, not Philip, not Charles with his emotional side piece, his emotional support side piece. If you all remember, the Queen went years and refused to meet Camilla, refused to acknowledge Camilla until she was forced to. I would say, knowing that the future of your kingdom is in the big, fleshy, pink, meaty hands of Charles and the very drawn up complexion of Camilla, knowing that these two people are the future of your kingdom. If that doesn't take a few years off your life, I don't know what would. Just running into this in a hallway is enough to take a couple of years off your life, right? But they want to blame Harry and Meghan. Get out of here. Get out of here. Those two. Right? Kate, William, the Yorks, and they want to blame Harry and Meghan for defending themselves, for protecting their child. Are you insane? I appreciate the fact that they danced around the whole idea of Wood Farm and you know, the very close and special relationship with Penny Natchbull. But there's a story there. Maybe that was unpleasant for the Queen. You know, I mean, I take no pleasure in saying this, but let's be real about it. You want to blame everything because when it comes down to it, the burden of all of this is for Meghan. Harry's only being Harry because of Meghan. No matter what Harry said about getting away from that toxic den of vipers, it's only because of Meghan that he's living in California. Not that he wouldn't have taken a run for the border as soon as he could if he thought it was a safe place to land. Yeah, she showed him the way out. Yeah, she did. But the truth is, given the circumstances that was his life, I'm sure he couldn't wait to get away from him. What a disgusting group of people. And it's all being brought to the light. I tell you what, whatever is going on, I'm pretty sure Harry ain't run through an intersection and break somebody's arm. I'm sure Harry didn't blow through an intersection and break somebody's arm. Okay, I got to stop thinking about that. So here's a photo that I have not seen before. Um, Speaking of Harry, I I don't know. I think that perhaps now that light skinned Harry has found his tribe, he is I notice he smirks a lot lately. I mean, it's very Marley Gibbs, very what's her name? Jeanette Dubois. Harry is turning into an elderly black woman in front of our eyes. He is doing a lot of smirking these days. Oh, he's doing a lot of smirking these days, bless his heart. But yeah, he's one of us now. Oh, I would love to catch him using some old sayings. I would love to catch him doing that. But yeah, he is slowly turning into an elderly black woman, and I'm here for it. I would love to hear him cuss. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the way he cuss has changed. I'm just saying. He probably changed the way he cuss now. So, and I have another sound bite for you, and it is kind of uh someone shared this, and this was from the interview. It seems very timely now. So, let me find that.
Will always do. Nothing of what I've done.
Oh, okay. Found it.
My father, I love my brother, I love my family. Will always do. Nothing of what I've done in this book or otherwise has ever been to, any intention to harm them or hurt them. The truth is something that I need to rely on. And after many years of lies being told about me and my family, there comes a point where, again, going back to the relationship between certain members of the family and the tabloid press, those certain members have decided to get into bed with the devil, right? To rehabilitate their image.
Yeah.
If you need to do that, or you want to do that, or you choose to do that, well, that is a choice. That's up to you. But the moment that rehabilitation comes at the detriment of others, me, other members of my family, then that's where I draw the line.
Okay, one more time.
My father, I love my brother, I love my family. I will always do. Nothing of what I've done in this book or otherwise has ever been to, any intention to harm them or hurt them. The truth is something that I need to rely on. And after many years of lies being told about me and my family, there comes a point where, again, going back to the relationship between certain members of the family and the tabloid press, those certain members have decided to get into bed with the devil, right? To rehabilitate their image.
Yeah.
If you need to do that, or you want to do that, or you choose to do that, well, that is a choice. That's up to you. But the moment that rehabilitation comes at the detriment of others, me, other members of my family, then that's where I draw the line. My father, I love my brother.
So there you go. He said what he said. You're coming after my family, and that is where I draw the line. The things that you say, the things that you are doing, um, the lies, the leaks, you're hurting my family. And that's where I draw the line. Yeah, and getting into bed with the devil. That's the other part of it. And getting in the bed with the devil. So his eyes has been open. He has seen the world, not for the world that he wanted to be or that he hoped it would be, but the world that it is. He still has his hopes. He still wants things a certain way. We all do. But then there's the reality. And the reality is you cannot dictate another person's morality. They either have it or they don't. And as they say, this game, and he has called it a game before, it has gotten way out of hand. It's a game that has gone too far. It's one-upmanship. It is the idea of trying to control Harry and Meghan because of their gifts. And their gifts is their popularity. Their gifts is their connection with people. The ease in which they connect with people, that's a gift. That's a talent. That's a talent. You either have it or you don't. But for whatever reason, people are always drawn to them. Always. And they try to downplay it. They try to just imagine if you had the British tabloid media trying to convince the world that everybody hates you. What would that do to your mental health and well-being? What would that do to the very fragile minds of some very disturbed and possibly violent people in this world? What would that do to them? Like Jeremy Vine says, you don't know if that's going to have somebody coming after me. Well, you don't care if anybody's coming after them. You couldn't care. Otherwise, why would you allow the information pouring out of the Jeremy Vine show? Why would you even allow that to see the light of day? Why would you have these panels that debate about things that are already decided before the opening credit? Why would you do that? It's incredible to hear Jeremy Vine speak about the panic of how some person in the public is trying to ruin his life, trying to intimidate him, or even trying to hurt him. And yet he's not vocal at all. He's not vocally doing anything for Harry and Meghan. And he's making money from them. Let me remind you, he's making a lot of money because of them. His ratings is because of them. And you know what happens to people who builds up all those ratings because of Harry and Meghan? They end up doing tarot card reading, wearing brooches and turbans. Yeah, they end up wearing turbans and brooches and tiaras. I've seen it. And it's scary. That's what happened to people that build their fortune on Harry and Meghan and then turn against them. You end up reading tarot cards, wearing turbans and brooches.
Be on one side or your family, a really polarizing subject that we either love to be on one side or the other of. And I think it's really unfair for us to make decisions about what they should be doing and whether they should be coming back. They're a family. If they want them to come back and they decide to spend time with their grandma, then they should do. And the idea that you're calling it could be a distraction and Prince Charles is worried. Well, the distraction proves that beside the Queen, Harry and Meghan are the most popular royals. And so basically,
I think they're the most
you only need to look at
controversial.
today's front pages ages and the whole weekend to see that Harry and Meghan, if they can splash a picture of Harry and Meghan anywhere with a headline, they will do it. So I'm a producer and I have also worked for Netflix. So I will say this to you. We all say that Harry and Meghan want their privacy, but they want to be in the public eye. They just didn't want to be bullied, abused and harassed by the press. They didn't say that they were never going to come out again and do things on their own terms.
No, they are for privacy.
Shining a light on the Invictus Games, heroes and veterans who should have a light shone on them.
You cannot be a royal and get rich, and Prince Andrew's tried to do that, and it's disastrous. At least they've said, we divorce the royal family and we'll get rich separately.
Are you really holding them to different standards than the rest of the royal family? Because we have a whole list that we could bring up of Fergie, Andrew and all the rest of them who have tried to use their royal connections to get meetings and business deals for people outside of this country with our government. That you are holding them to completely different standards.
Let's have some calls.
People love them. They're popular.
That's very interesting, yeah.
Oh, and there's Jeremy Vine trying to gaslight. Peter Hunt says, extraordinary allegations that has received zero coverage. Has anyone asked Kensington Palace what action, if any, was taken by Prince William? And as you can see right there, and by the way, this was from January 3rd, so this was in response to Spare. And I believe that's from Spare right there. It says, I was braced for a lecture. It didn't come. Willie was subdued. He wanted to listen. For the first time in a long time, my brother heard me out, and I was so grateful. I told him about one past staff member sabotaging Meg's, plotting against her. I told him about one current staff member whose close friend was taking payments for leaking private stuff to the press about Meg and me. My sources on this were above reproach, including several journalists and barristers. Plus, I'd made a visit to New Scotland Yard. Willie frowned. He and Kate had their own suspicions. He'd look into it. We agreed to keep talking. He agreed to keep talking. Didn't the lady from the island say it's all in the book? It's all coming out? Well, there it is. It was in the book. It's in the book. And it's come out. It's all in the book, she said. So let it be written. So let it be done. It's all in the book. As soon as he said that he went to the police, Willie smiled. Frowned, rather. He frowned. Which is kind of hard to tell because for William, a frown and a smile is one and the same. So there you go. No concern about Meghan. No concern about Archie. All they want to know about is the lawsuit. Is the case. Other than that, they don't want to know about anything. You know, when it comes to abuse, it's not that you're not aware of it, but for the sake of keeping the peace, you look the other way. But at a certain point, everybody reaches a point of exhaustion when you are so saturated with somebody else's nonsense that you can't possibly look the other way. Avoiding confrontation is no longer an option. And that's exactly where things are with Prince Harry. He's been avoiding that. You know, I've heard somebody say a long time ago, it was one thing when you were putting me down. It was one thing when you were coming after me. I didn't really care. I didn't care enough. But when you started targeting my child, that changed everything. That changed everything. And not only does this involve a child, it involves two children, two beautiful, red-headed, uh, possibly blue-eyed children, and likely to have freckles. Might even get some of those dreadlocks and a nose ring, whatever they choose for the kids, or whatever the kids choose for themselves. But those two beautiful California kids, that's where this has come to. And so having someone malicious and vindictive, somebody who has the outline of a 9 iron on their forehead, you can't have somebody like that dictating your future. You cannot have somebody with the imprint of a 9 iron on their forehead dictating your future. That just won't fly. And let's see. Lastly, yes, this is the last slide I have. Just to give you a little glimpse into the past. Back in 2011, it was like, I don't know, it was like going on vacation with a sibling. And back in 2018, it was something altogether different. Yeah, it was something altogether different. Instead of like finding yourself in this weird, awkward position where you're sitting with your former housemate or roommate at the Westminster Abbey, if you fast forward to 2018, two people that were destined to find each other, two people that are quite like-minded and very deliberate in everything that they do. Public servants, because service is universal. Philanthropists. How about executive producers at this point? They were destined to find each other, and they have, and it has been magic ever since. The other two, not so much. They haven't found each other. They're together, but they haven't really found each other, and that's too bad. But we can't worry about them. They made their bed, let them lie in it. And with that, you guys, thank you very much. Thank you to the moderators, as always, for keeping this a safe space. And thank you all for your very generous, kind, and thoughtful donations. And I see Rohini is here. Rohini, how long have you been here? I have been on quite a bit of a rant. Still kind of tipsy from the party. Be safe. Well, thank you, Rohini. I hope you had a good time. Let me see. The calls are coming from inside the house. Yeah. Well, okay. Good night, Nicole Tanis. So let me find something. I guess the last word of the day is kind of how we started today. And let me see here. Let me find our Sussex family. I'll put them up there. Oh, I'll go with this one. There we go. But yeah, so as they have closed the episode of Friends many a time, or the opening of Friends, that little reminder that gives me comfort right now. And but I'll be here for you when the rain starts to pour. I'll be there for you like you've been there before. I'll be there for you because you're there for me too. Yeah, so let's be here for each other, shall we? Let's be here for each other. All right, so that's our last word of the day. Rest in peace, Matt Perry. I hope he finds some peace, because that guy was a troubled soul. Imagine having made so many people laugh, and yet on the inside, you are just absolutely falling apart. That happens far too often in his life. And so I hope he finds the peace above that he did not find here on earth. And by the way, his father, the Old Spice guy, I believe he is still alive. He's 87 years old, but his father, the Old Spice guy, is still alive. God bless, he is still alive. Yeah, I don't think I mentioned that earlier, so just so you know, the Old Spice guy lives. Rory says Tina and Michelle predicted all of this from the beginning, that the royal family, British media were in bed together and it would all blow up in their faces. World is witnessing this now. You get a bell for reminding us about that. Let's see. Lorna Williams says Richard Mole from Night Court also died. Oh, that was the bailiff, right? The tall guy, the one who had the shaved head. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I liked him too. Night Court was a very different, quirky kind of show, but it was a lot of fun. It was like Barney Miller in that it was really situated in that one room, and it was really a good show. Reminds me of Barney Miller for some reason. But yeah, so that's true. Tina and Michelle, they spoke about it, and I do recall at one point that it was mentioned that that there had been some problems that could not be mentioned at the time. I mean, I didn't know what it was, but I do remember Tina had a lot of things that she knew about, and she had some connections that we were not privy to, and so yeah, I know for sure that. Oh, by the way, thank you for the soup chat. I know for sure that none of this comes as a surprise to Tina and Michelle. Yep. You guys, there has been a lot of people working behind the scenes in the Sussex squad. People that have written letters, people that have had meetings and FaceTime with people, people that have really, they've done some really deep diving into this, into these things. And even though there's probably still things we have not heard yet, but in due time, as long as the Sussexes are safe, as long as they are on their way to becoming billionaires, that's all I care about, is that they will have the money to afford the protection that they need, that they can continue to do their humanitarian work without all of the vicious attacks from the tabloid media, without the derangers trying to go into everybody's comment section to cast aspersions upon them. Don't need any of that stuff. Let them do their good work and leave them alone. And one of these days, you guys, you're going to say, wow, you haven't mentioned the rest of the royal family in a while. Trust me, I would love that. I would love that. I would love that. Dragging is therapeutic for me. Dragging is good therapy. I'm self-soothing by reminding people how nasty and ridiculous and lackadaisical the attitudes, all of those things. It gives me comfort to know that I have a platform where I can remind people just how dreadful the rest of that family is. But if it wasn't for the way they treated the Sussexes, I wouldn't even think about them from one day to the next. I'd be like, really? The Queen had 4 kids? I wouldn't think about them. But since they have gone through all the trouble, I'm going to go through all the trouble. But I probably would have anyway. All right, you guys, thank you very much. I'm going to cue the Ginger Avenger. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. And yes, continue to pray for our church, Nellie. Need your prayers right now. And pray for humanity, because these are some, I'm always the person who's saying, you guys know I've said this before. There's always been war. There's always been pain and always been suffering. But there's something so different about any of those things when it is playing out in HD video. That was a shock of 9/11, was the HD images of a very horrific event. Well, the young people, you gotta love the young people, because as much as we love to criticize young people, they're fat, they're lazy, they're always thinking about their feelings. A lot of those young people are putting their careers in jeopardy because they are speaking out. They're putting their careers in jeopardy. Their whole trajectory of life has been their careers, and they are putting all of that at stake for the sake of humanity. And at the very least that we could do is to support them in that. If we can't get out there and be there ourselves, if we're too afraid, if our situations don't allow it, then at least support the people that are doing the Lord's work, that are speaking out, that are trying to make this world a better place. It's very necessary to support them. Don't discourage them. Don't be afraid for them. If a person feels like they need a particular fight, then who are we to tell them no? The young people, that's how things get done. It's not the very ancient fossils that's sitting in the United States Congress. It's the young people. They always have the courage to call things out for what it is, without fear or favor, as they say, without fear or favor. Okay, I'm done. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.